Hello driving intelligence community. Today I'm doing a little home intelligence. My HVAC system in my house, which is relatively new, not even 6 years old at this point, failed on me, complete fail. No power to the air handling system, no power to the thermostat. I have a contract which brings out an HVAC contractor twice a year to do a heating preventive maintenance activity and an air conditioning season preventive maintenance activity. But the interim call for them would be $65 minimum, and then they have to fix it. And they do a massive markup on any parts. So I decided I was going to try to figure this out myself using the internet. And I figured out what model I have of the Lennox system, went online and started following some diagnostic steps. You need to have a little bit of a basic knowledge of electrical and mechanical here. You're dealing with about 220, 240 volts, and this can definitely cause premature death. So if you don't know what you're doing, if you haven't worked in breaker panels before, I would be very concerned about doing this. But if you have had some experience, this is something you can do yourself. I followed all safety procedures. I have a multimeter. I check voltages every time, multiple times. I've had a few accidents in the past mechanically, and I don't want to have an electrical accident, so I'm going full bore safety to make sure that everything is isolated and okay. And through each of these steps, these diagnostic steps, I was able to isolate what the problem is. I'm going to take you through that in this video. And I'll repeat this at the end of the video, but there's a wealth of information out there to help you resolve these issues on your own. You can do a little bit of research. You can determine if this is something you want to tackle yourself. I was able to tackle this myself, and now I have HVAC working properly in my home. Thanks for watching. Woke up one morning, found it a little chilly in the house, went to the thermostat to check it. Absolutely no power. I'm tired of trying to bring in all these repair places to fix this, so I decided to do a little bit of internet search. Now, I've never worked on HVAC systems before other than changing filters. And just to show you, there's always an opportunity for you to repair these things yourself, and you have to have some basic skills because there's a lot of voltage going into this. But I figured out what the problem is, and I'm going to take you through that. First thing to check, obviously, is to make sure that the breakers weren't tripped, and they weren't. Second thing, I removed the panel to expose these breakers. Now, this is very dangerous. There's a lot of exposed voltage. You can see these two lines here. That's 220, 240. You definitely don't want to get close to those. You touch that, you're going to turn into popcorn. But I checked the breakers, these two breakers, and they tested good, so the breakers were not a problem. Next thing I learned that I needed to check was to make sure that I was getting power to this panel. So you just pull this off, and you check voltage on these leads, and there's a description in the testing procedure online that you can find. What I found was that I had no voltage going to this control panel, the thermostat. So that told me something's going on up at the air handler unit in the attic. Now I'm up in the attic at the air handling unit, and what you see behind me is another breaker that controls all the function within the air handling unit. I pulled open this panel, and I flipped the breaker off and then back on, and I got continuity. There was power on the thermostat. Everything was working properly, but I noticed a lot of corrosion coming out of the switch. So I flipped it back off, went downstairs, turned the main breakers off, got some CRC electrical contact cleaner, sprayed it in this breaker, turned everything back on, and it wasn't working once again. So I decided I needed to pull the whole panel off, check that breaker, and it turns out that there was massive corrosion all the way around that breaker. I've taken the panel off my Lennox air handling unit and just doing a general investigation. I was having problems with this breaker. I had to flip it off and then back on, and then the system started working, and then it stopped working again. But look what I've determined here. The corrosion around this breaker is terrible. So I'm going to get a new breaker. I don't see any other indication of problems here. So I'm going to see if I can't fix this myself without having to call in the HVAC people.
making sure I'm safe, I'm measuring the AC voltage across this to make sure I don't have any voltage when I'm taking this apart. I don't want to be shot out the side of my house. Here you see the condition of the old breaker on the left. I don't know where all that moisture came from that caused all this corrosion, and the new breaker. So I'm going to replace that now. And this should resolve the problem. The breaker did not have continuity when the switch was turned to the on position when I was testing with a multimeter. So voila, my system's working again. I can cool and heat. You can see by these little indications here that it's in the cooling mode. It would have cost me $65 to have the HVAC people come out here and check this out, but by doing this myself, I was able to get this fixed for $45, $50 through a purchase on Amazon. So the point of this is that you can resolve some things yourself as long as you have some basic electrical skills and follow very strong safety practices. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. That tells YouTube that several people, hopefully more than that, like it, and they'll recommend my videos to others, and that would help me grow my channel. Thanks for watching.